Hello, welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to be sharing my 2017 glue book. This was great fun in the doing. I used pieces of watercolor paper, cut them, put them together, made holes for binder clips that I thought I was going to use, and then I decided that this ribbon would be a little bit prettier. And I was off on my glue book project. The front and the back is covered with collage pieces, some of my homemade stamps. The inside covers, this one, and the back, which is a heavier piece of board, music sheets, collage pieces, paint, stamps, stencils, general good fun. My first page, as you can see, the title, My Artful Layering, which is essentially what this entire book is about. These are my pieces of collage, including these micron pens, and I colored in my background, trying to pick up some of the colors that were found on the collage pieces. And the third layer was some pen and ink work and some filling in with, I believe, let me see, yes, gouache. So, then, my first double spread, a journal, a handmade journal, a large piece of collage on this side, nice pieces of collage over here, much painting on the back, the second layer stenciling, and the third layer pen work, which of course I just love doing, and any other little bits and bobs that I thought I might want to add to this one. My next spread is this girl, large piece of collage on this side, the two butterfly wings collage, and this piece of a spring bouquet. Background colors. First of all, background was painted in, and I do remember using my fingers to add these colors. And then on top of that, I did some of my homemade stamps. And then I embellished just a little bit with pen work. I did not do too much to her because I just feel like she speaks for herself. I tried to keep some of the colors that I found here and here, as you'll notice, in the background. I, as a personal choice, like to work with the colors that I see before me for my background paint. This was such fun doing. A busy spread, but oh, such fun. More of my handmade stamps, some circles with some pen and ink work, a large pieces of collage, and this entire piece, two pieces of collage over here. So I again picked the colors that I found in these pieces for the various bits and bobs on my collage to paint around the outside of the collage. A stencil here and here and here, I was starting at this point to get into the flow with this kind of work, which I had never really attempted before. These two girls were and this piece were the focal of this spread, which left me rather a large empty space here. So I used some of the colors that I see in these ladies on my background. I saw a little bit of mauve over here, and I have just a little bit of that around the edge. Some of this color in the background here, and also used in the stencil layer, which was the second layer. The third layer, some more of my stamping, pen and ink, and some paint pens. I had just started to try using paint pens, and I'm planning to do more with them this year, because they certainly do put a nice lot of color down, and in a controlled area. Listen to your inner voice. Oh yes. And as you see, some of the learning, I probably should not have done the ribbons for pretty and left the rings, but live and learn. A million dreams, oh yes. More collaging, same principle of coloring, and I was really starting to get into, this is where I started to believe to use the a credit card to lay on my background colors. More of the experimenting with paint pens. And this spread certainly has a lot to say for itself. My pieces of collage with these major colors, greens and the magentas and maroon, and I went with those colors and the blues for my backgrounds, the shades of pink, the blue for the background, and more paint pen work. And here I am up till halfway through the year on this project. Okay. I just learned how to handle opening and closing properly. In August, art tools, and any time that I see any collage that has anything to do with art tools, oh my, it gets ripped out and put into a special layer in my stash box. Here again, same principle, and this time leaving some of the large letters on the piece of stenciling that was here. I just decided to, a few of my favorite things, but to get back to using my own cursive handwriting, which I taught for many years to third graders, and don't get me off on the subject of not teaching it now, but I'm starting to let the background areas be a lot more vivid, to speak a lot for themselves in August. More in August. Oh my goodness, this big, luscious raspberry just had to be here. Some more stencil bits. And for some reason, my muse told me that I just had to have some black flowers on this. And here they are. And never stop exploring. Well, black flowers certainly is an exploration. And I'm kind of torn on my love factor for this page. But it was mine, and it was fun doing. And here we come back out of the depth of color found in these last few pieces. And on this, some things that I particularly like. And I labeled this one Visual Stories. A lot of sepia and natural coloring on this page. So I tried to stay with that for my background painting. My stenciling, I notice that these stencils are in sepia, dark brown to pop forth some of this dark brown that I see here. My new feather stencils with pops of blue. I just guess I decided that I needed to have some here, and I was quite tickled with this spread. Don't ask me why, but that one really, really made me happy. Oh boy, did I start to let it happen on this one. I put things down that had no rhyme or reason, but I loved each one of these individual pieces of collage from my stash. This is one here, this one, this long strip, and this. So different from what I'm used to doing. Oops, and Western United States map. So different from what I'm used to doing. But it was a challenge beyond anything. I used some of the colors that I found here in my background, and on this one I decided not to use black. I remembered I used a nice heavy shade of gray to work with these old pieces of machinery, and I do believe these might be airplane or train parts. I have no idea. This building and this one, I guess the point of our art is, even something like a glue book is a challenge, a visual smorgasbord of things that we can bring out of ourselves with our art. And on top of the whole thing, after all of this, flowers. No explanation other than that's what I thought I needed to do. Well, this is more recognizable as Carol. Oh my, succulents. Love some succulents. A tree. Some roses. So much less thought and more feeling goes into making this than goes into producing this. But this, the fact that I was able to do it, I'll never understand the flowers on top, but love it. This was another time that I was letting the paint be moved around with a card, and the two shades, the sky color and the green from the two shades in the succulent. And over here I tapped in a lot of undergrowth because the stencil stopped, the collage piece stopped right here, and I played up these pinks with more stamping and stenciling. A little bit more of the brown got in here. I think I'll have to do another glue book this year. Next year. Because it's just great fun. This wagon was a favorite piece, and then I added the flowers onto the top. So that's two pieces of collage. And this big one plunked down on this page. This was in a large page in a book, a magazine, and showed that someone was showing these flowers in these cobalt blue containers, and the sides of the stand were these pieces of metal. Loved that. This, another piece of collage that I was able to find because I know that I needed to have my wagon or my whatever down on something that would make sense, only because I wanted to make sense at that point. Goodness knows I could have had it any place. It could have been flying in the air. I was starting now to more and more as I progressed through this book to find doing this, to do it with less thought and more flow. If that's an art word, flow. The principle's all the same with my background colors laid on to bring out some of the colors here. But I remember saying as I was working on this one that I was just kind of going on automatic pilot, but a good automatic pilot at this point in time in October. Yes. Large piece of collage here, here, another piece in here. This entire piece is collage, and I overpainted on the piece of collage to give this tree more oomph with my dark forest green, my Ceramcoat go-to dark forest green stencil, and some of my Signo Uniball pen on top of it. This is a stamp, and I added whatever to this urn with my Signo Uniball. Such fun doing. I do hope that you will start a glue book of your own. This one, for some, decided that the wood paneling here was not on this side. It was a white background, but I added the lines, and I put these three metal, they could be any foul, but the three guys are right here. Some stenciling, stenciling painted in, and adding of just a touch of greenery. And here again, different, but the background was white with just these added bits of collage, and this is what I was able to imagine when working on that one. And the last page tells it all. Yes, a new passion. This book became a new passion. I'm finding it, as I evolve in my art, more and more of a storytelling experience using whatever I have added out of my collage stash. And I am working always at finding bits and pieces to use like this. In other words, this, of course, as you can see, is a stencil that I have painted in a little bit. A lot of this was finger painted on. But then these two pieces of paper glued down are where I seem to be wanting to go. This was pieces that I plopped on using the side of a credit card with my dark forest green. And yes, the best I can say is this kind of art has become a new passion for me. I do hope that you have enjoyed my sharing of my much-loved glue book. If you have, I would appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share with a friend, and I would appreciate it so much if you would subscribe to my channel. By now, I'll be back with another visit to 2017 very soon. Bye.